Removing Andrew would require new legislation.
Hey, yo, that graphic along with those words is Channel 4 suggesting what I think they are suggesting.
I'm as real as a real can get.
Buongiorno freaks and geeks, welcome back to the channel. So in my last video, I showed concern that even though they say Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has been punished for his, let's just say, indiscretions, he was still in the succession for the throne. If only he could get rid of 7 people, he would be king of the United Kingdom and Commonwealth. So it seems like the government has listened to my concerns and are thinking about removing him permanently.
What do you mean by that?
Which only confused me further. If the government has to enact a law to remove him from the line of succession, doesn't that make him a public servant? It's just like the government changing the law to implement new rules around the police or social workers, and still we are told he was only in public office while a trade representative for the government from 2001 until 2011. Make it make sense. But I guess that will be for another video. In the meantime, let's watch this short video from Channel 4, which will give us more detail on the government's plans. Before I press play, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me down below, do you think the government really has the stomach to remove Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor from the line of succession?
The brother of the king, being driven back home in one of his Range Rovers after his arrest.
I love that little dig, in one of his Range Rovers. Remember, people keep telling us, the normal people, that Andrew's been so humbled by his brother King Charles, but he still has all of the security that he would ever need. He still gets to be driven around in a Range Rover. He still gets to go back to a massive mansion that all of us, well, the majority of us, could only dream of owning in the future. All this while Harry had to fight for his security. You know, the second son of the actual king.
Technically, Andrew could one day still be king. How can this be? The nation may well ask.
It's very simple. The rich and powerful who created this whole system also ensured that they sit outside of this system. If they didn't have that in place, there would be almost anarchy, or in a better world, socialism.
As police continue searching 30-room Royal Lodge.
Oh God.
30 rooms. And the last royal correspondent tried to say this is humble. Well, then again, in the context of being a prince, it probably is humbling, but that is a massive slap in the face for everyone else that has to live through this cost of living crisis.
Well, the government has said today it's now thinking of removing Andrew from the line of succession. At the moment, he is just 8 places from the throne, behind Prince William, William's 3 children, Prince Harry and his 2 children. Removing Andrew would require new legislation.
Hey, yo, that graphic along with those words is Channel 4 suggesting what I think they are suggesting. Are they requesting remove Andrew from existence permanently? I mean, within the context of Game of Thrones, they would probably say if he's still around, then he will always have a claim, even if you remove him on paper.
I was joking.
Of course, Channel 4 is not suggesting that, but I just think that graphic, along with those words, did make it seem they were strongly suggesting it.
Plus agreement from 14 other Commonwealth countries who still hold the UK monarch as head of state. There is just no conceivable way that Andrew could ever be king. There would be uproar. And doesn't the current king know it? But removing Andrew from the line of succession isn't entirely straightforward, despite the severity of the allegations against him, which he denies.
Of course, he denies it, first of all. And secondly, you see how hard the establishment has made it to bring people to justice that have done so much wrong in the most blatant and arrogant of ways. Imagine one day you wake up and forget to say good morning to your father. Your father has every right the next day to go to his lawyer and remove you from his will. It is that easy, no questions asked. On the other hand, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office, friend to notorious sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. And you trying to tell me you cannot dislodge him from the line of succession? Tell me who created this system without telling me who created this system.
Andrew was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Maximum penalty, life in prison. Back in 1649, when King Charles I was found guilty of treason, his head was chopped off.
Good afternoon, Your Majesty.
Do you have any reaction to the arrest of your brother, sir?
This King Charles, Andrew's big brother, has now said nobody is above the law. And with questions about what palace insiders knew, even the king accepts there must be a thorough police investigation.
I just love this picture. The alleged nonce, Andy Pandy, just deep within the royal fold. And behind him, the beleaguered Prince Harry. You know, the guy who did the crime of marrying a mixed-race woman and decided, you know what? After centuries of inbreeding, my family's a bit racist. I don't want to put my wife or my children through that. I'm going to America. And the UK media absolutely crucified him, vilified him. Parasites like Piers Morgan saying, how dare he put his grandmother through this? How dare you even have a say when it comes to someone protecting their wife from racism, you stupid little pig. Now, if the royal family did the right thing of expelling their racism instead of hugging a suspected sex criminal, we wouldn't even be having this scandal today.
Who knew what, when in the palace circles? And I think that the pressure for answers on that and documents to be released about his time as trade envoy, those questions are going to become quite deafening.
Anyone that's worked in a workplace knows that all the employees know all of the rumours but are too scared to whistleblow or speak up because, you know, we need jobs to keep food on the table, to keep the lights on in our houses, to keep the heating on during the winter. So unless the royal palace employs the severance technique, I'm pretty sure all of the people that work there knew this, especially the normal people that have to clean up after these spoilt, inbred brats.
MPs on the Business and Trade Committee will meet on Tuesday to discuss a possible inquiry into trade envoys. But what about removing Andrew from succession? The process is unwieldy. The government's already promised legislation to defrock Peter Mandelson from the Lords. Adding an Andrew amendment might be the easiest solution. Though, given the vanishingly low chance of it ever being needed, do we really need to bother?
Of course they do.
I would say we do need to do it. We can need to do it in the most efficient and quick way as possible.
Nothing to do with Andrew this time, but why are we hearing from a Liberal Democrat?
That's a good point.
I am sympathetic, hugely. I'm the chair of the Health and Social Care Select Committee.
Oh, that's good for you, baby.
Would I rather spend my time arguing over, the minute chance that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor might become king one day, or the NHS? Goodness me, the NHS 99.9% of the time. But, we are a grown-up parliament. We can do this. We will find a way through.
Just walk and chew gum at the same time.
This royal watcher outside Buckingham Palace today had an alternative suggestion.
Royal watcher, like bird watching, just outside of the palace, thinking that Charlie boy will peek his head through the curtains. Oh my god, we as a people have been brainwashed to worship people just a little bit more money than us, and we really need to throw off those shackles.
But can he not just disinherit himself to the crown? Can he just say, I don't, come clean, be honest, just say, put my hands up.
You're showing me how unserious you are.
I'll take myself off the line of lineage or whatever.
Yeah, that would only work if the person you're dealing with had or has a soul. These are people that come from 500 years of privilege. Why the hell would they give up anything? That's why we still live under capitalism, because the rich and powerful are not going to willfully give it up. They love being in the lap of luxury. And for this, I don't know what type of royal watcher that person was, but if you really watched the royal family, you would know that's a complete impossibility.
It is in truth a little more complicated than that. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor hasn't responded in detail to the many allegations against him, but he has previously denied wrongdoing.
I just love how they end that little piece with him looking the most rodent he could be. And I don't even like saying that, because a rodent would have never acted like this. A rodent would never place themselves with a convicted sex trafficker. A rodent would never have had themselves photographed over a redacted, unconscious woman or child. I don't even know what that was. It was so heavily redacted. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor is definitely something else. A parasite which will never leave the royal family, because they would have to leave with him, because they are all complicit and enablers, apart from maybe Prince Harry. But until I have evidence to the contrary, I will believe that at least. So tell me down below, what do you think will happen, like, in the end? Will he be charged? Will he face his day in court? Will he be removed from the line of succession? I think if he definitely gets charged, they have to put in the law where he cannot become king if 8 people croak it. Well, actually 7 people croak it, because he's the 8th in line. And hopefully this will be the last time I have to speak. Actually, probably not. This Jeffrey Big Epstein stink is going to stay with us for a very, very long time. And plus we've got all of these elections coming up. I think there's a by-election on Thursday, and then obviously we have the local elections in May. So maybe this will impact all of those things. Actually, I hope it does, to be honest. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. If you stayed up until this point, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. If you want to show a bit of support, don't forget the buttons for like, subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon. Ciao.
Looking for someone who really understands. Take a step in my direction. Take a step in my direction.